So today we are going to look at how to understand the CAP report. This is one of the basically a random student that we've selected, and this is going to talk about how we have to understand the CAP report while getting to know the various aspects about the sections of CAP report. So this basically is talking about how the first two pages are a generic page which talk about the CAP test and the approvals and the patents that we have. In terms of introduction, if you look at it, it says very specifically that what this test has been designed is to capture around 300 unique parameters, which are called as CAP codes, which are your unique traits from four different angles, four different dimensions and potential. Now, what are these four dimensions and potential? The first one is the personality potential. There are around 6 types of personalities. These are all globally identified parameters for various career successes. So we normally people look at only one specific angle and use that for as a basis for creating career clarity. But what we have done is we are trying to look at the individual student from four different angles which are independent of each other. One is the personality potential. Second is the multiple intelligence potential, which is, again, there are 9 types of intelligences. So within that, which is your dominant and weak one. The third is vocational area potential. There are more than 45 vocational areas. So out of those, which are those vocational areas which are good for you, which will suit you because of the way you are. Now, vocation here means engineering is a vocation, fine arts is another vocation, music is a third vocation, science, again, within science we have environment as another vocation area. We would have physics as a vocational area, we would have chemistry as a vocational area. So it all depends upon individual vocational types and the areas that would suit you as a person. And the fourth dimension that we look at is called as blue collar traits. These are individual traits about the student. For example, if somebody wants to become let's say a software design engineer, so it looks at more than 11 aptitudes. So normally we look at one aptitude or two aptitudes, but these again are part of a globally accepted standards for worker codes, which are used for identifying the unique strengths. So we will look at within aptitudes also, which are the aptitudes that are strong, which are the aptitudes which are weak. Similarly, with respect to let's say data, which are the areas which you are good at, which areas you need to improve. So blue color potential gives us a more in-depth idea or a clarity into the individual students' specific details, which can be used for identifying whether certain careers would suit them, and if they want to get and succeed in a particular career, which are the traits they need to improve upon. So if you look at it, finally what the report does is the AI software creates 4-dimensional image about all the 4 different angles that we look at the individual student of, and then we create a final 4-dimensional picture of that individual, and with that we map him with more than 2000 plus global careers and identify the top 25-30 careers that would suit this person because of the way they naturally are. So it is more about why do we take these 4 different angles, is because normally if you look at it from only one angle, we may end up missing certain factors which may not be available or which may not be seen from another angle. So when we look at all the 4 angles, we will consistently get the areas which are strong of the individual, and thus our accuracy of the report becomes very high. So also we need to understand that in case you find any contradictory statements, there would be some, as we go along, as you would see within this report as well, that there could be some areas where you would be good at, but at the same time there would be contradictory statement. For example, it may say that you like to be with people, but also it may say that you like to be alone. So what it is trying to tell us is that we human beings are not black and white, we are multiple shades of gray, and so trying to understand our own self is very important. So once we understand our own contradictions, we would be in a better position to identify why what we need to do, why a particular career does not suit us, and what we need to do to change within ourselves in order to suit for a particular career. So in short, this report is an exercise in self-discovery. The more you are able to analyze and understand this for yourself, and you will see that it becomes useful over a period of time. It is not a one-time sort of a report. You can use it, and we have people who have been using it for their own career growth over 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, because Once you understand yourself, it will help you to then take a more calculated decision about your careers. Let's look at the first part, which is the potential personality potential. Here there are 6 types of personalities in terms of social, enterprising, investigative, conventional, artistic, realistic. So these are all generally defined career as personalities globally accepted. Each personality has a particular trait which is explained here in this report, and the value of matching of that particular career to you. So in this case, as you can see, the highest personality map is 28% and everything else is below that, so which clearly means that for this particular student the personality has not been developed yet, and within that the only plus that we can see is the social and enterprising are the top 2 personality areas, which is some definition. Again, they are not very high, they are just there, but they give us an inclination about this person from a personality angle. At the same time, artistic and realistic are low, so this clearly tells us that this person is within the personality areas that have still not been developed, yet artistic and realistic are some areas which will be difficult for her to develop into. So this gives us one picture about the student. This report then explains the individual personality of the student as we go ahead in verbal form. The next angle is multiple intelligence. Again, there are, as I said, 9 types of intelligences. So within that, which are the areas which are strong for you and which are the areas which are weak for you? For logical intelligence, intrapersonal, interpersonal, spatial. Here there's a description of each of these type of intelligences: naturalistic and existential, musical, bodily, kinesthetic, and linguistic. So again, here if we see, this is the match of that percentage. So within that, it seems that logical intelligence is 38%, not very high, but logical and intrapersonal are the 2 dominant areas for this particular individual. At the same time, bodily kinesthetic, working physically, or music, or even language use is something which is very weak for her. So this is another area which gives us a second angle about the individual. This multiple intelligence report also talks about your intelligence descriptions, the type in which you would like to enjoy taking tests, and the style of your learning. So based on this, you can get a clarity about your own testing styles and learning styles, which will be useful to you as you go for higher studies. The third angle is vocational area potential. In this case, as you can see, vocational area potential talks about those vocational areas which will suit the person as they are. So here in this case, for the student, counseling guidance seems to be the highest vocational area, followed by humanities, consulting, and personal service, and then food science. So the top 5-6 are normally looked at, or anything above 50 is considered a good sort of a vocation area for that person. So in this particular case, customer service, counseling guidance, humanities are the areas which look good for this particular individual. Then looking at blue collar traits, within that there are several other factors, like for example your judgmental inclination. In this case, the student has at highest at 51%. So the more challenges for her is that all other areas seem to be lower. Social ability is at 36, temperamental is at 33, interest levels, language competency, math, machine ability, aptitude or talent is at 16, information inclination is at 8, data orientation, and maths competency is at 6. So this gives us a picture about the student from the 4th angle. But again, within that we can have multiple aspects. For example, though we say aptitude is at 16, we can try to find out which of the aptitude areas could be stronger for her or which could be weaker for her. So now we go into more details about individual blue collar trait. The first being the aptitude. So here level 1 means the person is highly motivated to do that particular trait, and level 5 means the person is not motivated to work in that trait. So looking at this individual, you can see that intellectual and analytical orientation is an aptitude or a talent that the person has, which is high at number 1. All other trait areas are 5. So this again corresponds 1-to-1 with the paragraphs below. So in this case, it says this has excellent talent for in-depth mental activities. Such people are good at theory, concepts, logic, analysis, procedures, and suitable for research careers in academic, scientific, or consulting field. And similarly for the rest of the traits, you can see what they say by looking at the individual paragraph and trying to understand what that means. Second point that we look at is information inclination. Again, within that we have areas like analyze, synthesize, compute. So all these in case of this student are very low. 4 to 5. So she's not highly inclined for information. Again, the information here could be looked at from the first to first paragraph. Like Nikita is moderately interested in taking up activities which involve proof finding and collection of evidence. Such people are open to new ideas and identify usefulness of those ideas, but have moderate talent for investigation, research, and analysis. So as you can see, this is contradictory to the first personality that we saw. So the first aptitude that we saw, because here the person was said to have a good intellectual analytical orientation, and here now we are seeing that the ability to analyze, investigate is low. Again, what does this mean? So it basically is trying to say that the talent has not been developed. The person has that aptitude, it has that talent, but it has not been developed for as a part of the process till now. So probably a person, if such a person wants to get into the area of information or data or in terms of investigation, then they have to develop this particular trait. Similarly, the other aspects are again linked one to one. The third angle we look at is interests for the job. So within interest levels, it seems the person has very high interest for communication of ideas. So the person wants to communicate ideas, that's a high trait. And then technical scientific interests are also at 2, but creative is low at 4, and everything else, all other traits in terms of interest levels are also low. What this means, again, one to one is motivated to communicate ideas and concepts. Such people also need to have strong command over their language with in-depth subject knowledge, as it would be a waste of extraordinary talent. So what the report is trying to tell us is that this person has the ability to analyze, understand, and communicate, but unless it is put to proper use in terms of the right skill development, the right aptitude or talent development, or the right efforts towards the particular career, there would be actually a waste of talent. And this is how the CAP report helps us to get more insights about ourselves and tells us about those areas where we need to develop upon based on the careers that we have chosen for ourselves. The next point is judgmental inclination. In this case, the ability to judge. Now here the person has very high motivation for applying ideas and strategies to real life problems, and to understand holistic concepts, and being methodical and and thorough in their procedures. So this again says that this person has good ability for problem solving and understanding things in a bigger perspective. Again, if you look at what it explains here, is the same. Strategy expert who would like to apply this strength to identify, analyze, and solve challenges. Such people would enjoy careers which require them to draw conclusions, devise strategies, determine action, and achieve results. So what it is trying to tell us is that this person has abilities to investigate and analyze, but it has not been developed, and it has the idea of information not being developed means that the person needs to do efforts into gathering more information, collecting more inputs to understand and develop a certain level of depth in their area of expertise, which probably the child is at 15, 16, 17-year-old has not developed that because of the education system and because of the way generally the mindset is of going with the flow and just getting marks and not really thinking seriously about developing oneself. Now coming to the language capacity, there is a good systematic logical explanation and education ability. So the person has a good ability to explain things, but when it comes to understanding and reading and recording, this data is low. So which again means the person has little inclination to gather more information, but wants to but whatever information, right or wrong, that the person has, it will be very good in explaining them and logically making people to believe what they're trying to say. So this is an interesting aspect. So motivated to describe, explain, teach, illustrate, interpret, and such people can find good fee in the field of teaching, politics, marketing, sales, advertising, service industry. So this is the area that individually this is explaining. In terms of machine ability, if you see there are various traits. Again, the person has high precision, quality, and mechanical technical standards. So this means she's good at quality control and wants to and good at identifying errors. At the same time, there's a good sense of sensory coordination for creation. So there's a good amount of sense of applying senses for creating stuff. Again, this is what it explains in the individual one-to-one. Has highly developed skills to monitor quality and precision, and again has moderately developed skills for sixth sense of intuition, but lacks the creativity. So it has developed abilities moderately, but not very high. But still, there is a ability to work along with the five senses and sensory ability. So this can be good for areas of hospitality, fashion, design, and these areas. Maths competency, again within that we see all are 5. So basically this tells us that the person is not totally oriented towards anything to do with maths. Even basic elemental adding, subtracting is something that they will not enjoy, and so the areas which will not work for them could be in these areas of finance or banking or any of the areas. Social ability, within that we can see the person has inclination for social service, at the same time inclination for negotiating, 50% of ability to mentor things, but otherwise she doesn't want to entertain or persuade or voluntarily inform others or supervise. So this is some traits, or again instruct has come as low. So though they have ability they have a capacity to teach, they are not really develop the expertise to instruct. So here is again an idea where we see the potential, but we also see that what has not been developed and what needs to be focused upon. So even if a person works hard on these traits and motive and changes it from 5 to 4, that would be a good change within their own individual thought process and their own individual personality and mindsets. And finally, the temperament area. So here in this case, it seems the person is good to work with detailed data record, which is showing a high ranking. At the same time, they want to provide service. So we have seen a social service or something to a liking, and also providing service to others is something that they will enjoy. At the same time, they are independent and self-planned, so they would rather work independently on their own and handle choice, responsibilities and decisions rather than working with people. So here it says work under management is low. So there is a consistency in terms of the person wanting to be separate from working under management and working with people and working in organization and working with teamwork, but more interested in working independently. And this is something which is interesting. Also, these are contradictions that you can see. There would be a change and variety is also at 5, and routine activity is also at 5. These are two contradictory traits, but both have the same level of dislike, which means that the person needs to slowly start developing their liking for one or the other in terms of identifying what is the end goal that they want to achieve. So this report helps the individual to get clarity of the end careers, and once you set your goal on the end career, then for achieving success in that career, you need to come back and look at these traits which you will now need to develop upon or work upon, so that you start succeeding in those careers. And as we go ahead, this is the final summary of the report, which in this person's case it is a single page window of the entire traits that we worked up till now. Here it says the person is social at 28%, logical intelligence is at 38%, counseling, guidance, humanities and personal service are the 3 vocational areas, and judgmental ability is something which is strong for her. So this is the individual summary in this particular case. Let's now look at the top careers that have come. Here it explains the job description. In case here the first one is applied behavioral therapist, which is an independent career but working with people and analyzing and using the intrapersonal abilities. The percentage of match, how strongly it is matching, 80.35%, and the education path to take is BSc in psychology and diploma in therapy, and she can get into this career if she focuses on it. The second is leisure studies specialist. So they focus on understanding and analyzing leisure studies like recreational tourism, fitness. So this is another end career, percentage matching, and the way to go. Geriatric tourism, college admissions. So I'm not going to get into the individual of it because they are specific to this person, but customer service manager, food application technologist, and then consumer science researcher, aid worker, international aid worker, environmental compliance inspectors, HR managers, social researchers, and charity development, family marriage therapist, so environmental remediation engineer, judges and magistrates, purchase managers, chocolate consultant. So these are the sort of careers that are suiting this individual. Cheese connoisseur, a bakery, food owners, hospitality managers, immigration and customs inspectors. So it is giving a variety of careers which would suit this person because of the way they naturally are, and based on their individual passion and liking, they will then have to focus on the career, and once they focus on the career, then the education path can be identified easily. So in final, the action plan to be taken once you get this CAP report is, this is the most crucial page for the individual. After understanding your own self through the various traits mentioned in the report, what you need to do is now work through the report to identify your true passion. How do you do that? So basically, as this says, these are not predictions or guarantees, but they are that you are forced to choose, but they are scientific indicators of the areas where you will succeed because of the way you naturally are. For example, here, and again it says if you want to be an actor, but this does not come in your top careers. It only means that in order to be a good actor, you need to develop certain traits which are necessary for an actor, and you will need to work harder than a person who might get an actor among his top careers. So it shows you the areas which are weak in, or the strength areas that you have. So either you try to work on your strengths and identify and work on the careers. There could be so many careers you may not have thought of, but they have come here, so you can think about them, get more information. How do you get more information? So the first step is to go through each career in detail and choose those careers which excite you. So the point is you have to be excited about that career. How do you get excited? And by getting more information. How do you get more information? By using Google keywords like job profile of that career. I don't look at the education part now, because initially the idea is to find out your top careers, and then job openings and top personalities of that particular job. What are the openings right now? What are the salaries? Which are the companies? Who are the top people? For example, a chocolate consultant. Who are these chocolate consultants currently? What are they? Where are they working? What is their work area? So getting more important information about those careers will get you a clarity in that career. So once you get this information, the idea is you go through each career, get this information, probably do one career in a day, look at that in details, and then see if it excites you. If it doesn't excite you, you can let it go and then focus on the next career. So like that, you go through each and every career and then find out of those careers which excite you. They can be 5, 6, 10, whatever. And once you get those careers which excite you, then you need to go and look at it from the second step, where you imagine yourself working in the future in a particular company in that role, as that career, let's say after 15 years, and see whether you can how much you like. So you rank your likings about that career from 1 to 3. 1 would be the top rank, that I would like to work as this, and 3 would be at the second level, third level. So what happens is you create that 1, 2, 3 among the selected 8 or 10 careers, and then find out from those shortlisted careers of the top 3 careers that you would like to focus on. So find out the top ranked 3 careers or 4 careers that are there. Once you get the clarity about those careers which are making you feel excited and passionate about, then you can look at the areas about the education paths for next 3-5 years and how to reach that goal. You can try to take help of a CAP career psychologist to help you in narrowing down the careers, or helping you in guiding various potential ways in which you can take the education, whether in India or abroad. What are the entrance exams? All that information with respect to that career can be given to you by the CAP psychologist. The basic summary of the entire report is to help you to narrow down on your top careers that are suiting you, and then look at those which generate passion. Once you are passionate about a particular career and you see that career is matching your core potential, then it is only a matter of developing the relevant skills and knowledge and talents for that particular career, and then using it to proceed and progress in the career over the next 3, 5, 10 years as you go along. So finally, this is where I summarize. What it says again is, whatever a mind can dream, it can achieve, but it has to be a realistic dream. And this is CAP report helps you to get a realistic picture about your own self, about your own potential, from the various traits of global career mapping. And once you get these traits clear and you get to understand yourself more clearly, you would then be in a better position to choose the right career and then work sincerely towards those careers. And it would ensure that as you go along doing efforts in that direction, you will reach your goals and achieve success in the chosen career. So this is where we take a call. Thank you very much for understanding.